Dave Manners, you have one?
Yeah, hey, Cuonzo, this matchup with Georgia, just because how they're built, is this one where your guys' size advantage has to be an advantage for you guys? What are the challenges of playing a little bit smaller team?
We've seen a lot of teams that go small and you make the necessary adjustments, but I thought our size did a good job in the first game. I thought we did a poor job with our transition defense, probably 12 to 15 minutes or so in the second half in the second game. But I think the biggest key, you want to be aggressive, pounding the glass, getting the ball inside, but you don't want to neglect your perimeter game. Open shots, you got to take those. You still have to be aggressive. It's not a case of us coming down every time, let's pound the ball aside, and that becomes their focus. And now guys not looking to shoot the ball. So we want to play how we play, but we have to be assertive on the interior.
Mitch?
Cuonzo, I know you've talked a little bit about Drew taking on a little bit more of an offensive load upon his shoulders. I guess just when did you kind of see that start to click for him this season, that this team needed for him to kind of be that guy?
Man, it was probably about, I'm not sure. I know the Texas A&M game is when he became more assertive. So whenever before that, because I think up until that point, even, you're talking the first game, Oral Roberts, I don't think he was very aggressive, offensively. I just think he was playing basketball, doing the things that's asked of him, but he wasn't very aggressive until I think, we certainly had a talk with him. But I know Texas A&M game, and it might have been the game before that, and it just been aggressive. Simply that. It was not necessarily come to the gym and do more, do this or that, just be assertive.
And Arnett?
Coach, the cliche this time of year is, hey, it's the postseason, everything changes, flip a switch, all that kind of stuff. But you've really preached consistency from your group this year. When you talk to them about postseason, is that the continued message of, hey, it's not different? We want to stay consistent?
Well, I think for us, we talk about, concentration is one of the things. You got to be competitive. You have to concentrate. So I think that's when we hit those laws, we have those mental lapses. Because every game that we've lost, you can go back and look and say, man, these are things we can correct. Oftentimes you go up against a team, you just say, man, that was a great night. They were a better team. I don't think that's been the case for us all season long. So it's the concentration, the focus, the attention to detail, the commitment to your personal assignment, and then it becomes a whole. I think those are the things that are most important we talk about, because I think when you're consistent in those areas, it takes care of itself. And we just had to be consistent in those areas. Like I said to our guys, we're 7-0. When we were 7-0, we were probably last in the league at turning the ball over and three-point shooting. But you consistently played hard. Those are the things. Don't get consumed. All of a sudden, you're making shots. And that's why I tell our guys, it's amazing how you get up 12 or 13 in a game, you make a few shots. Now you lose focus defensively. That has to be consistent. That has to be who you are. I think those are the things, but I've never been a guy, even as a player, when it says postseason is different. I mean, you could be sitting in a situation where you plan for your life, so to speak, as far as making the tournament. So that's different. But man, you're not changing those habits over a course of time. You're not changing those habits. I mean, that's oftentimes who you are. There might be a mental adjustment by an individual here and there, but man, you go 20 plus, almost 30 games, you are who you are.
Natalie?
Hey, Coach, Jeremiah and Mitch both mentioned this hunger that you guys had last year. And obviously the big thing is right now, 1 year later, you guys are back here at the ACC Tournament. I'm curious, take me through your kind of thoughts and emotions being back here, especially with how far your team has come.
I mean, it's really great to be playing the game. You're talking a year later to actually be playing the game, because there were so many unknowns, even up until this point. You have teams that have played some games. You look at South Carolina, hadn't played a lot of games in comparison to other teams in the league. Some teams in the league, I think, reached 18 games, which is impressive. So to be here is a great thing. And for those guys as seniors to obviously be transitioning, of course, the goal is to win the SEC tournament. And then to be an NCAA tournament, that's a great thing to be a part of, especially with Mitchell Smith, Jeremiah Tibbin have been in the program. To be at this point, to be actually playing games, and it seems I like to think we're going to get them off here. That part is exciting.
Ben Hockman?
Hey there, Coach. Wanted to ask you about Drew Smith. What qualities of his game, what qualities in general will you and the team need to lean on during tournament time?
Just Drew Smith being Drew Smith. It's and truthfully, I mean, It's not so much as leaning on him as other guys doing their job. You know, the other guys are stepping up, being sound. It's not being spectacular, just being sound. Because you're talking about a guy that carries a heavy load. He doesn't flinch with the assignment, guarding smaller guys, guarding bigger guys, you know, getting steals, being in the passing lane, driving the ball, shooting the ball. That's a heavy load for a guy. So it's more of a case of other guys just simply doing their job, you know. So it's not as overloading his circuits because, again, that man has a tremendous assignment every night out. Because oftentimes I know the experience because I did it. When you go on the other team's best player, that's an assignment within itself. Now I have to go on the other end and continue to do my job. I remember Coach Katie tell me, look to score, look at your offense, because my focus was that on the defensive side of the ball. So, again, I think it's more other guys doing what they're capable of doing and being consistent in doing that.
Go ahead.
Hey, Cuonzo. Somewhere in between, like what you said, you're not playing for your life to get in the NCAA tournament like you might be in some cases, but also you want to win the SEC tournament. What do you try to focus on in the sense of what gives you the best chance to make a dent in the NCAA tournament at this stage? Is there anything different about how that approach would be?
You know, for me, it's winning this SEC tournament. And I think the approach is because we spend a lot of time talking about as a staff, concentrating on your assignment. Even when you're 7-0, concentrate on your assignment, because I think that is the most important thing. Don't get consumed with all the peripherals or, you know, oftentimes, okay, this guy got player of the league, MVP of the league, this guy was first team, this guy was that. Man, we're here now. I don't think that there are any more individual awards being given out outside of, I guess, all conference team in the SEC tournament. But over the course of the season, you have your first and second team, you have the MVP of the league, you have all that. So it has to become a point where what's most important for our team to be successful. And that's me simply doing my job and whatever that job is. And I talk about that all the time because I don't think you get to this point and start swinging for home runs. I mean, you are who you are. I mean, there's a level of consistency in which you operate, the accountability in you doing your job. So for other guys, and again, we watch a lot of film with guys that we need to show specific things to. But you just have to be good in your role, because I think we're good enough as a whole. When we play as a whole, then we're as good as anybody. But everybody has to do their part. And I always simply say at the end of all that, it doesn't necessarily mean making and missing shots. It's defending, rebounding, playing hard, getting the ball where it's supposed to go, moving the basketball, taking pride in one-on-one defense. Those are the things that are important, because oftentimes when you get consumed with whether or not the shot is going in, that depends on how you start playing the game. My shot is good and I'm good. Don't focus on that. And this is coming from the head coach. Focus on playing as hard as you can play.
Tyler.
Hey, Coach, as noted, it's been about a year since the SEC tournament was canceled and COVID impacted the world, let alone sports. What do you remember specifically about that day last year? And overall, has your outlook on sports changed since then?
I think so. We will be playing tomorrow. And I remember just right outside of this room, was a room below us, talking to Mike Kelly just about it. Buzz Williams just passed by, like, man, I don't know what's going on. We're not sure what's, you know, because their room was probably 2 doors down from us, just so unsure about it. And then all of a sudden, I think maybe 30 minutes later, they canceled the games. And that was it. And just, again, just you didn't know. It's like, man, because you didn't know what 4 or 5 months would present it. And it's just like, okay, what's next? Okay, here we are. And then you kind of going back home, you're making sure your guys understand, don't go too far, because we don't know what's going on. Then it goes a month and 2 months, and here we are. But just really, it was just because it was different. I think, you know, time stopped, so to speak, when it came to sports and real life.
Blair.
Hey, Cuonzo, Jeremiah's done such a great job this year avoiding the fouls. Last couple games, though, he's got a little foul trouble. What is it just a matter of getting back to fundamentals for him? Simply, and concentrate. I think concentrate on the floor, not the peripheral. Just concentrate on the floor. It's the most important thing. Concentrate on, you know, the actual game itself, my assignment, my opponent. And that's it. Because I think Jeremiah's biggest opponent when he steps on the floor is Jeremiah, because he's big and strong, he's physical. And it takes two. When he's clicking on all cylinders, offensively, it takes two to slow him down. And defensively, he's as good as any when he's moving his feet, hands are high and wide. And just concentrating on, you know, the task at hand.
Got time for a couple more. Eric.
Cuonzo, you fielded a lot of questions about Jeremiah this year, so here's one more. you know, when he came into the program, you know, did you look, how long-term did you look like, I want Jeremiah to look like this on the court and off the court when he leaves, or how do you diagnose that part of it?
Well, I think the same for me. Again, there are certain particulars that when you meet young guys coming into your program, because oftentimes in recruiting, you don't really have a true relationship. There's a lot of talk on the phone, and you meet them, they come on your campus, but there's no genuine relationship. And I've always felt like the relationship starts when adversity hits. And I think that's when the relationship starts, because now you're getting to know somebody. You're getting to know them away from home, under uncomfortable circumstances, whether whatever took place, classroom, off the court, on the court, whatever took place that creates some level of adversity for that player. And I think that's when the relationship truly starts, because you'll see how they handle those situations, respond to whether it's suspension, whatever that is. You see how they respond to how they grow from it, did they learn from it, or they teach those same lessons as they get older, they pass them down to the younger guys in the program. But him in particular, you know, just for all guys that lead the program to go from young men to men, because again, as their parents pass the baton to us, we pass it on to life in the real world. And hopefully it's professional ranks in sports or the corporate world. And hopefully they're successful men in understanding the things that need to be taught, because all the things my mother taught me and my high school coaches taught me, there was still growth under Gene Katie. There was a lot of growth. That doesn't mean I didn't get taught at home, but that's the continuation of growth. And a lot of valuable lessons, you know, some painful lessons. And Coach stayed the course. He was consistent in his teaching. He didn't waver regardless of how I felt, if I was pouting or what, it didn't matter. These are the lessons that we're teaching here. And he made me a better person because of that. And the same thing with Jeremiah. So, of course, a man, but my maybe a little bit different for him because he has a son. So I want to try to accelerate that for him. So it's probably a little more sitting down and talking to him, because again, it's not just him anymore. My mom said it years ago when she, you know, and again, I don't want to get on this part, but when she dropped out of high school because she had kids. So she said, my life was stopped because of my kids. That became my life. So it's the same thing for him. He's second, TJ's first. So that's the most important thing. So me trying to get him to understand that there can't be any slippage in him as a man, because there's somebody counting on him as long as he's on this earth. And I think that's the thing that I try to get to him. And that's more so than the basketball part. There's somebody leaning on him for the rest of his life as long as he's on this earth.
Sorry to cut it off. We got to head to the bus. We're a couple minutes late already. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it.